Hey guys, a few days ago my family and I spent 3 days up in Wales. It was a lovely trip we just had, so I've filmed bits and bobs of it and I thought I'd show you. Now we live down in London and we went and got a train up to Bangor. Anyway, that took around 3.5 hours. And from Bangor we got a bus to Llanberis where we were staying, and that took around an hour. Buses do seem to go around an hourly around here. We also got a bus from here to Carnarvon another day, because that's actually going to be the bulk of this video, because we went on the FindTheUnknown Railway. That's lots of fun. You're also going to see a weather change, because we went on Monday and we went back on Thursday, so I've got a bit of filming for Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday here. So Monday we had a walk around the lake. Well, we got on a very small little steam train which runs around the half of the lake. It runs around here. Now it runs through the old slate mines, because this was all slate mines around here. And also there's the National Slate Museum, which is down here. So it runs down here. You can see the little dotted lines, and we got off around here and then we walked all the way back around again. So we've got a little bit of footage of the train coming up here. Then day 2 we got another bus, which I think was the S1 bus from Llanberis. So there's a tiny little bus station in there, and then we got it all the way up here to Went Penwye Pass. Now this is a tiny little place which is not going to show me, so we'll zoom back out again. And from there you've got a couple of routes you can take. Now we took the pig route, PYG or something up, and it is gradual. It's quite nice until you get to the end, which is just up. It's sort of rocky, and most of it is sort of pathy, and then it's not a pathy, you're just climbing over rocks, and then you're just climbing sheer upwards. But it's not dangerous, it's just difficult, and I'm a lot older than I was when I did it last time. Well, it's only 5 years, but I'm heavier than I was last time. The other way you can go from here is around the back of here, and maybe that's a little bit easier, because it's actually just a gentle walk up, and then you get to the end just after here, and there's loads of steps going up. That's the way we went last time. I felt better going that way actually. But finally coming back, we actually then took the long pass back to Llanberis, which I think is this one here. And it takes you back. So this took us about 4.5 hours to walk up. It took around another 4.5 to get back. Now this fellow here I feel quite sorry for, because this is the way down, walking down. While I was stopped for filming, and my family were just having a drink, and he passed us. And he was going quite fast down the hill. It's a gentle slope, most of it, but he still tumbled over. Unfortunately, he looked like he broke his shoe. Now, he was quite ahead of us, because quite a little concerned. But he got straight back up again. We could see he'd done some of his shoe. Now we continued walking. He was getting further and further away from us, but then I don't know if he's walking too fast or what. He actually fell down again. But again, he got up and just continued, and then he was out of sight. But that was, very unfortunate. Now we're looking at the Snowdon Mountain Railway, which is a narrow gauge rack and pinion mountain railway. What that basically means is on the middle of the wheel, between the two wheels, there's like a cog which goes round with the wheel, and in the middle of the track there are these teeth, and the two meet, and that's how it keeps its traction. Now we're very much at the bottom of the mountain right now, and you can still see the sheep. They're dotted about everywhere in the entire the mountain, and I think just as we're walking down here, finally the Llanberis actually comes into view, and the feeling of finally seeing the place, because we were so tired. Now knowing we were going to be dead the next day, our legs were going to be completely had it, so I picked something really easy for us to do, and that was our steam train ride. So we got the bus to Carnarvon. That takes about 40 minutes from Llanberis. It's not that long. The bus sort of takes you around here, and the station's here. There's actually a castle here, which is lovely. If I can find one, I'll put a photo up. And this is a brand new station which they built here. I think it was 2009, 2010, somewhere like that, which they built it. Now, the line, if I pull this map out slightly, now this is Open Railway map, and it's based on Open Map, and tells you, well, it shows you all the different railways. As you can see, it's got the yellow line here, this little greeny yellow line. That was our route. Now, the route itself, if I pull back out again, goes all the way down to Porthendock. All the way down to here. Now, I've done that route before. It's nice. And then this is the other bit, which you take up to Festigniog. And that's where the railway gets its name. Now, the ticket you can buy really is dependent on what day you're actually going. And, well, on our day, there was 2 tickets. One either from Carnarvon to, I'm going to say this completely wrong, Bedgullet, or Porthmadog Harbour, which is the other end, down to, back up to as well. And at the end of the film, we will see the other train coming in. So that's the one we got, because it was easier to get to from the bus to Carnarvon. So we got that now. It's actually a longer run. It's a nice run. Now, as we go down the route, we're seeing a big lake on the right-hand side. And I do open up to looking more at the scenery at this point than the actual train. Now, at some point, I will actually look left, and if you look acrosswards to the mountains there, that is Snowden at that point. Yeah, this is where I was the day before, looking at, early in the film, where it was horrible, the weather was horrid, and I was being blown off the side of the mountain. But on this day, it was beautiful and sunny, and we got a very good view of it. The loco hauled today is number 87, and is an NGG 16 Garrett locomotive. So the loco was built in Belgium for the South African Railways, and it's believed that it made its way to the UK in 1936 and worked in Port Shepstone from 1937 to 1968. Now, the loco was acquired in 2006 and entered service in 2009. It was actually overhauled in 18 to 20, and it was basically overhauled and repainted. It's a 262 262T, it's 49 feet 2 inches, and previously, if you know Pete Waterman, it's actually previously owned by him also. It does seem that the loco was in quite bad shape. Initially, they didn't really want to purchase it, but someone actually, a private benefactor actually came on board and actually paid for it and its restoration, which is how it's actually here right now. And thank goodness, because look at it. Doesn't it just look fantastic? So right now, as you can probably see, they're filling up with water. So, as we've got some time, let's talk about the actual railway. There are actually 2 railways here. The first was the part we're not riding on, which is the Festigniog Railway. Now, that was basically just built to haul freight, and around here it would have been slate. So the part we're riding on is called the Welsh Highlands Railway. This was actually made to haul freight and haul passengers. Unfortunately, it never really made much money. So the Festigniog part was actually built in 1836 and closed in 1946. Now, that size had 13.5 miles of a track, and it's 1 foot, which is 1 foot 11.5 inches. And I believe it's got 10 stations as well. Now, the side we're riding on, the entirety of the track, 25 miles long, which is just over 40 kilometres. Same gauge, as we said. Now, this was opened much later in 1922 and closed in 1937. It just didn't make enough money. The amount of freight which they thought would go through it didn't. And then the only time it really made money from passengers is when people like me came, or tourists, basically, even in those days. So the railway reopened in stages. The Festigniog was the first to reopen. Boston Lodge, I believe, was the first place to be restored. Then they got Porthmadog Harbour to Boston Lodge in 1955, and then they slowly expanded the line on that side. On the Welsh Highland Railway side, it's a lot more complicated. To get it back up and running was a number of legal battles, because first of all, a society was formed, which is the Welsh Highland Railway Society. That was in 1961. They became a company, which is the Welsh Highland Light Railway Company. I think it's 1964 Limited. Guess what, in 1964. But the problem was, Festigniog also wanted to restore the line. And an offer was made to them to actually to sell them the trap bed, the old trap bed. And so legal battles ensued. Now, the Welsh Highland Railway Society did own a bit of track, it seems, so they were running short services. And so eventually an agreement had to be made between the two, but what it does seem is the Fersigniog Railway pretty much won. The Welsh Highland Railway did build part of it and were allowed to run services through part of it until the rest of the line was made. They had their own engines and carriages, etc. at the time. And after that, it seems that Fersigniog would run everything, but they would give some sort of fee to the Welsh Highlands Railway in return for that. So it's a number of legal battles which they had to do. Finally, anyway, in 19th February of 2011, all running, which we see now, was actually made possible. From the passenger's view, though, the restoration itself is fantastic, because this journey actually takes the journey we're actually on today, about an hour and a half. It's designed to go at the speeds we're going, around 25 miles an hour. It's designed to take really sharp turns. It's designed to have long, a good amount of carriages. Actually, the carriages themselves are actually made by them, or they pay other companies. They are new carriages. Ones we were sitting in actually have 4 seats one side and 2 seats the others, and they've got tables. Not all of them do. The carriage in front of us, you'll see on the film, actually is open-sided. Now, I wondered at the beginning why that was actually pretty empty. And when we're looking there's a lot of dust and smoke and coal dust, basically. And so the majority of people didn't really want to actually sit in there. You're not allocated seats when you actually buy the tickets, but you are told, for instance, we bought a table for 4, so we went and sat at a table for 4. This is Diners Station. It's a request stop. A lot of the stations along here are request. You can go to the station, or you can actually phone up to book singles and from specific stations, and actually to different locations. But if you want to buy online, you have to do a return, and you basically have to do the 2 which, or the 1 or 2 which they have on the website. But you are able, if you do want to phone, you can do specific chunks of a line. You don't have to do all of it. So I believe this is Warn 4 station. Pronunciation terrible again. It was built in 1877. It was passenger and for goods as well. Closed in 1936 and finally reopened in 7th of August 2000. And a bit of trivia. Warn 4, it seems, is Welsh for big health. Or it would be if you pronounced it correctly. What struck me about the scenery is that the broad sweep of what you get. You got this sort of very flat area here with sort of farmland on, and then suddenly you're in between the mountains, you're crisscrossing, you're sort of just taking these very sharp turns, and then you're back out again. It is very, very diverse. The other thing which we were thinking about the day before we were actually walking down, the sheep literally everywhere throughout the whole mountain. Now, I presume it's not just Snowden itself, it's the whole area, Snowdonia, which these sheep graze. How on earth do the farmers get these back? They are sheared, so at some point they have been actually pulled in and actually back to the farm to actually have the work done, but it's just amazing because there are no fences. There's hardly any fences up there. They really are free to go anywhere. There are hardly any fences up there in the mountains. They can just wander about. There's not even on the Snowdon Railway, the Snowdon Mountain Railway, there's actually any fences there. Now this railway is slightly different, obviously. We're in the valley here more, so there are fences and there are people living here. But certainly for the animals, Loading them back up must be extremely difficult. On the left hand side right now we're coming up to a number of peaks, and I believe this is Mole Sihorian. Could be wrong. I'll put the pronunciation up on the screen because I can't properly say it, but yeah, I believe that's where we are right now. Now this is Lyn Crelin Reservoir. Again, pronunciation, apologies. The end of this reservoir, on the left hand side, that will be Snowden. The ironic thing here that the right hand side we're looking mostly of is far more beautiful and more impressive than the left hand side. It doesn't look majestic as you look up at it, but it is the highest peak in the area. However, as we go round to the right, if you look to the left, that should be Snowden. Yeah, the peak on the further peak on the left hand side should be Snowden. That's where the summit station is. You can see the height we've gained from here because we were obviously next to that reservoir before. It's quite impressive how much this train can actually climb. I suspect we're somewhere in between Snowden and Wyre now. So I thought I'd add a quick shot of the inside. So this is our one. We've got the tables to the left. You won't really see those. I don't think it's fair actually filming people. And 2 tables to the right, so 4 people to the left, 2 to the right, and it's fairly big, it's very spacious. I'm at the doors on the left and the right, and they're slam doors. The open-sided carriage at the front, in front of us, is quite interesting how that's stayed. I think that's 2x2, the seating. The middle bit of the carriage does have windows, but the rest doesn't. And obviously in wintertime not so good, maybe they don't run it wintertime, but in summertime I could see that being popular. It's just the soot which is really going everywhere, which is probably stopping people use it. I did see on the way back that a number more people sitting there. Maybe again that they got a table, so they thought they had to sit at a table, they couldn't sit there, but they did fill up a little bit more on the way back. So this is the penultimate station on our journey. It's a Millennium Station, I believe it's called. It looks to be a campsite, basically a station for a campsite. So if you're camping, you can request a train to stop. So it looks just to be on the outskirts of where we're actually ultimately going. Edgillet Station, which is the little village, and we will take a very tiny little look inside the village as well. I did film a little bit in there, but you'll see the pub I ended up at, essentially. We're very close to the last station now, and but we will actually have to stop just before the station. You'll notice the loco actually makes the platform. That's because the water tower on the other end of the platform wasn't working for some reason, so they had to fill the engine up at this end. So we have to stop and wait, but it's okay. It gives a little bit of extra filming to see what they're doing. There you go, you can see the engine stop. Maybe the first carriage, they could actually get out if they wanted, but no one was really allowed out at this point. Yeah, so he gets off, he actually fills the engine up, and then we get going again. Well, that's it for our journey, sadly, but what we'll do now, we'll have a quick wander down the platform, and I stick the camera just inside the cab, and we have a very quick look inside the cab of the engine. Now, I have to admit, this is actually filmed a little bit out of order. We actually really go to the town first, then the train comes in. Now, I suspect they've timed this so the town doesn't get swamped with too many customers at once, because the pub does get quite filled, actually. So I think it's 3 pubs, but one actually was shut. There's an ice cream parlour there as well. It looked quite nice, but no, I preferred the pub. So yeah, we'll watch the train go in, and then we're going to have a look around the town. So this is a town. It looks very a traditional little village built with tourists. It's got the river going through it. The outdoor shots for people who want to walk. And so there's the river. And there's the pub which I went into and had a few. But that's going to be it. I do hope you enjoyed watching. Yeah, that was my trip to North Wales the other day, and I very much enjoyed it. And it's been, what, 5 years or so since I've been there, and I hope it won't be as long before I go back again. It's the first time I've gone by train, always gone by car, and actually it's far more doable than I actually thought it was going to be. Very enjoyable. And I do hope you enjoyed as well. And if you did, please press the like button and all those sort of things. And well, guys, I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.